Good day everyone, this is Uglo Fashion and you're welcome to my channel. So today we'll be learning how to make this flay short gown. It's a dress with cape and sleeve as well. So if you enjoy the tutorial, if you get anything from this tutorial, please subscribe to my channel and please share with your friend and like my video. Thank you very much. For the short flay gown, I folded my fabric into two. Then I'll fold this on it. So I'm making use of this side, the joint side. Yeah, I'm making use of here. The length of my client is 17 inches and the length of the gown, the short gown, is 45 inches. The circumference of the half length is 40. So what I'll do now is I'll measure 17, which is the half length, then to the short gown length, that's 45. Then I will add 1 inch seam allowance to it, that's 46. So now I'll come back to this edge, to this peak side. Then I'll measure what I have there, which is 12.5. I'll go around with that 12.5 to see whether I can get my half length circumference, which is 40 inches. And please note that I will not be adding any allowance to this measurement. Reason being that the material is stretchy. You can see it's very stretchy. So I won't add any allowance to it. So all I need here is just 40 inches. Now I've gotten my 40 inches though with few inches, but it's still 40 inches. So but before I cut it out, I'll measure the down part from this as is. I'll go down from here. So the total I have here is 40.5. So I'll go around with that 40.5. Now I'll cut it out. So this is for the down bodice. So if you are cutting yours and your material is not the fabric is not as stretchy as this, you will add zipper allowance of 2 inches to it and your seam allowance of 2 inches as well. But in this case, I'm not adding any allowance like I said earlier. So I've notched the middle part. For the upper bodies, I'm going to mix it up with this, my navy blue fabric. So first thing I will do now is to measure the length of my half length from the shoulder. I'm using this side for the shoulder axis. So the half length is 17 inches. Then I will add half to it, make it 17.5. Like I said, the material is stretchy, so 17.5. So now the nipple point, from shoulder to nipple point, is 11 inches. Shoulder to under bust is 14.5. So I will rule out those ones. The shoulder is 17 inches. 17 divided by 2 will give 8.5. So I'll measure 8.5 here. Then from there, I'll come down by 7 inches. Then connect this 8.5 to the 7 inches. Then from this 7, I'll measure 4.5. Then here, I'll go in with 1 inch. So from that point, I'll come down to the nipple point. The nipple point is 42. So I'll measure 42 inches, which is 42 divided by 4 will be 10.5. I've chalked out 10.5. So if it were to be fabric that is not stretchy, you add 2 inch seam allowance. But because this fabric is stretchy, I don't need to add any allowance to it. So here as well, the under bust is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5. And the half length too is 40. 40 divided by 4 will give 10. So I'll just connect my lines. But if you have stretchy material, if your fabric is not stretchy, add 2 inches allowance. So the 10.5 I have here, I'll transfer it here. Then add 1 inch seam allowance. I will add 1 inch for my slope. So I'll cut it down. So for the back bodies, I folded my fabric into 2, and I placed my front bodies on it, and I left 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance. I'm still going to reshape it. So I'll just cut, since it's still the same measurement I'm using, I'll just cut it out. So I will open it up, this joint part. So for the neckline, I'm cutting both front and back together at first, then I'll reshape the front side. So now what I'll do now is the back and the front, I'm going to measure 1 inch for the length. Then for the width, I'll measure 3 inches. Though there's still going to be cape at the neckline. So I'm cutting both together. Then for the shoulder I'll come down by 1 inch. Then slant it to the neckline. And I'll notch the zipper allowance. So the reason why I said I'm still going to reshape this is because our back side is not straight. So chalk is not really showing, so I'll just slant it. For the neckline of the front, on this side I'll come down by 6.5 inches. Then I'll roll it out. This is the 6 inches. So from here I'll just cuff it to that 6 inches. So I'll cut it out. So that's the neck. Now for my cape. So for the first cape, I'll place the navy blue fabric underneath. And I'll cut out the neckline shape. So from there, from the neckline, I'll come down with 4 inches. Then from this side, I'll measure 3 inches. So I'm going around with the 3 inches, then to link up with the 4 inches here. Let me connect the lines. So I'll cut facing for this as well. It's a bit longer. Let me trim this side. So this is the first one. So the other one. So for the other side, for this other side, this is still going to be like this. So for the other side, I'll measure the length I have here. Let me cut out the edge. So for this other side, I measure 3 inches straight. Then it's going to end here, where the neckline ends. That's where it's going to end. So I used 7 inches for here, from the shoulder to 7. But I'll add ½ inch for my joining, since it's going to have facing. So I'll add ½ inch to it. So this is 3 inches by 7.5. So I'm going to cut 2 of this. So now I've cut 2. So I'm going to add my stay on it, and this as well I've cut 2. So I'm adding my stay on both. Now for the sleeve, I'm cutting both the 2 sleeves together. So I folded my fabric into 2. Now I'll fold it into 4. The length of this is 15 inches. So, and the circumference of the sleeve, the sleeve circumference of my client is 16 inches. So I'll measure 16 inches here. This is the bicep, and here. So for the sleeve length, the circumference there is 14 inches. So that's 7. I'm not adding any seam allowance, but if you are cutting yours and the fabric is not as stretchy as this, please add 1 inch for your seam allowance. So So I'll just notch the middle, then use my navy blue fabric to turn the down part. So for this, I'm just going to trim it in this shape. I'll maintain the shape of the sleeve as well, since it's going to be in turn, it's going to be turned up. So this is the middle of this sleeve, so I will notch the middle of this as well. Then for the shape, let me just rule this. Let me rule out the middle. So yeah, I'll measure 2.5 inch. Then on this side to 2.5 inch. I'll just slant this. Then I'll cut it out. So this we need facing as well. So this is how it's going to be here. So you need facing. So after sewing, it will be like this.